What's up, Info MMA episode 40? And yes, this time it's in English because we have the voice of IMMAF with us, Ricky Wright. What's up, Info MMA? So as you can see, Ricky, my MC skill sucks, but I tried to do an intro the best I could. What's up, man?
I won't go that far. I think if anybody from the IMMAF team heard that, I'd be out of a job.
I already had a job as an official, but okay, just in case that fails, right? So thanks a mil, Ricky, for accepting the invite. It's always good to have some of the cool guys that I came to know and love, so to speak, IMMAF journey, and you're definitely one of them. I still remember the first time I saw you, it was in Birmingham, 2015.
Oh yeah.
We're using your famous white tuxedo and those black and white shoes.
Yeah. That was the first time I wore my white jacket. I've only ever worn it 3 times, and that was the first time. And I did do another television appearance on a Welsh language TV show, and then I did it again. I wore it again in Prague, but I hate wearing it because everybody's hands are so dirty, and everybody wants to hug me, and I'm like, get your hands off me. And then I'm like worried that blood's coming over the cage, and I'm sat too close to the cage. So I just don't like wearing it. I only keep it for the special occasions. So, and I've worn it when I've worked with you twice. So it's always a special occasion when I'm in the ring or the octagon with Paulo de la Vera.
Yeah, that's when I'm in a good mood, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A bad thing.
There's been times where you weren't in a good mood, but you laugh about it later on. Yeah, how's things, Paolo? How are you?
All good. You know, keeping myself busy with work and everything, and because I don't do this as full time, unfortunately.
Not yet.
Right? You're
Not yet.
full time.
Yeah, full time. About nearly 2 years ago, I quit my job to be a full-time ring announcer. I've been a ring announcer for 8.5 years. Yeah, but 2 years ago.
Jesus, you were like 16 when you started?
No, I'm 31 now, so I started when I was 23. I still got my youthful looks. I moisturize.
You use the black, the Afro-American trick, right? You just put lotion all over the body.
Yeah. Well, Becky does it. She puts it on me. She buys me this thing to make my face still young and youthful. So, you know, I still get ID'd for alcohol. So if I go into the the legal drinking age in the UK is 18, and people still ask me for identification. So,
and I'm sure they double check twice or 3 times.
Yeah. Yep, it is real. It is me. I am 31. I am older than you.
Well, not, but yeah, most guys at the door probably. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So what did you do before? So what was your before the MC?
My day job. I was a carer, so I was looking after adults with learning difficulties. So various different disabilities like autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy. So I used to do that. I used to love my job as well because, I used to get on better with the people we would look after than the staff I would work alongside, and they're a lot more fun to work with, the people I looked after. And we used to get to do cool stuff like go out for food, go bowling, and go down the seaside, and just cool stuff like that all the time. And I did that for 10 years. The worst thing about it though was like the 24-hour shifts and the weekend work. So you'd work in the afternoons and in the weekends. So eventually that's why I quit my job, because even though I dropped my hours down to 5-hour contracts, so 5 hours a week, they would still rota me into work weekends. And I'm like, I'm a semi-famous ring announcer. I need my weekends. So sometimes if I'd have a Saturday, I'd work a Saturday, like I'd have a show on a Saturday night. They'd have me starting work at 3 on Friday, finish at 3 a Saturday, go straight to the show, and then start at 3 again on Sunday and do another 24-hour shift. So I was
Jeez.
overworked. So I quit my job. It was, I think, a week after I met you, just after Birmingham, IMMAF in Birmingham.
So I hope I wasn't the catalyst to do that.
I
So, and
think you
what?
said to me, Ricky, follow your dreams, quit your job. And I said,
Yeah,
yes, Paolo, if
everybody.
you say so, if you say so.
So, do you think it was a good choice so far?
Yeah, it's been hard, because my girlfriend Becky, she's lost. We live together, and she's lost her multiple jobs in that time for various reasons. Um, so when she lost her job, I was working for the both of us, and but now she's got a really, really, really good job. I can relax a bit. I don't have to work as hard. I can be more selective with the shows. Some months I can do like 13 to 14 shows a month in 1 month. September just gone, I had three shows. I was like, I can't live on 3 shows. But luckily, I didn't. I'd made so much money in August through MC and graduation ceremonies that it carried over through September, so it wasn't as bad as I thought. And then I took the odd last minute show as well. But yeah, it's good. The worst part is uh, there aren't any fight shows in January because all the fighters are too fat to fight after Christmas, and everybody is too skint to buy tickets. So between Christmas and like the halfway through February, I earn no money whatsoever. It's just like this year was really hard because um, I spent all my money on Christmas and just hoped for the best. And I still do 3 hours a week caring privately rather than through a company. So when I would take a lad out to Costa, I take him out for coffee and we go for a walk. We go into this place called Costa, and the woman serving the coffee, she'd give us loads of freebies because she had a brother with autism, and because the
Oh,
guy I was working with had autism, she just kept on giving us loads of sandwiches and donuts and things. So I took him there every weekend in January, and she just kept giving us these free things. I was like, here we go, and they were that's what I was eating on in January. It was like living off living off like yum
donuts.
yums and donuts and paninis and stuff like that she would have thrown out if she hadn't have given them to me. Some of them were out of date. So my only goal for this year is to not be so poor in January next year. So, and I'm doing all right. I think I'll survive this year. I think I won't suffer this as much as I did last year, January. Becky's got as I said, she got a much better job now, and I've been a lot more careful with my money. So that said, Christmas will be here soon, and I'll probably buy loads of crap I don't need to spend money on. I probably buy people presents I don't even like, and I'll be skint again this January, and I'll be back down Costa living on donuts again. We'll see. We'll see.
You need to find another gig, man. Like I don't know, maybe stand-up comedy or something. Actually,
Oh,
is
I'm not.
comedy anything good? You know, is that a good gig in the UK?
Stand-up comedy, yeah. I'm not that funny though. Like I'm funny. I'm funny amongst my
Laughing because people that don't know you might think that.
I'm funny amongst my friends, but if I go on stage, like sometimes I'm in the ring and I'll crack a joke, and then everyone just like looks at me and is like, "Was that meant to be funny?" But sometimes I remember, I remember someone won a raffle, and it was a hamper of food. I took like a cake from the hamper as he was walking away with his prize as a joke, and someone in the crowd went, "You fat bastard! You fat bastard!" So I said, "Oh," I put the mic to my face. I said, "I'm only fat because every time I fucked your mother, she bought me a kebab." And
Oh,
the
well,
place erupted in laughter, but that's as
you,
funny as it gets.
so you made it alive from that one.
Yeah, yeah, I was hiding from him the rest of the night. So, but that's probably as funny as I've ever got inside the cage.
You can handle the hecklers, right? That's how they call it. So that's a good first step. Then you just need to write your material and just practice. You know. Um, so in terms of
Ah,
EMC, you were saying that you're semi-famous. Actually, how many shows, different shows, have you worked on? And you worked on some good ones, some important ones in the UK, right? Of course, IMMAF is probably one of the big ones. You're basically the voice of IMMAF on all the tournaments. But
well, I
what
am
else?
in Europe. I've done Cage Warriors um, a few times. I've done the weigh-ins for Bama, but I haven't done a show yet. I've probably done like Shock and Awe is a pretty big one down on the south coast. They've done 25 events over the last 8 years, and I've done every single one of them. And there's, I do a lot of boxing as well because there aren't enough MMA shows uh, to go around to keep me earning enough money to break even. So I took out a boxing license. So you gotta have a license to MC boxing in this country. So that's like £120 a year, and then they fine
Ouch.
you. They fine you if you do anything wrong as well. And I've been fined twice. Um,
Did you do, Ricky? Tell us.
the first one was a promoter basically told me told me the week before an event. He said, "Oh, Ricky, I can only give you £50 to do to," and I was like, "That's not what we agreed." And he was like, "Oh, I'm staring down a barrel of a loss. I ain't gonna be able to pay you what we agreed. This is as much." And I was like, "Okay." And then Matchroom phoned me up then the next day. And Matchroom are the biggest boxing promoters in Europe.
Hmm.
Uh, Eddie Hearn, Sky Sports, Anthony Joshua, and he said, "Oh, Ricky, we've got a show this Friday. Can you do our show?" And I was like, "Yeah." Oh, how much? And they gave me a very, very healthy offer. So I was like, "Yeah." So I phoned the original promoter up and I said, "I know you can't afford to pay me. I know the guy who builds the ring for you has a Master of Ceremonies license. He will do it for free because he's already there building a ring. Matchroom have offered me money to go to London on a very big show. I've got to go." And this guy was like, "I can't believe you're doing this to me, Ricky." And it's not Nigel,
Yeah,
by the
that's what
way.
I was going to say.
It's not
Look,
Nigel Burgess, by the way. That was my Nigel voice. Um, so
you
I,
have to do that on the show, man. I won't let you go before you do your
oh yeah, I get
nice
to it.
nation.
But because I did this show, rather than that promoter show tried to rip me off, he reported to me to the board, and I got fined for a breach of contract. So, but I was still, even though with the fine, I still made a profit. So,
Yeah, but that's interesting. So the promoter could not be fined for breach of contact from his side because he
yeah.
promised you something and he didn't deliver.
Yeah, exactly. It's total bollocks, to be honest. But and then another time I got fined was because I did a raffle without permission. Even though it wasn't my raffle, I didn't collect the monies. I didn't give out the prizes. The promoter said, "Oh, Ricky, can you do the raffle now?" And I did it without asking the board permission first. There's so many rules. Um, they probably listen to this now, and I'll get fined for
Yes, because this
saying
podcast,
about how much I got fined.
everybody hears this podcast. It's yeah, it's me and Ariel Alwani. It's like, we're neck to neck.
You're bigger than Ariel.
Probably in height. That's
How many countries have Ariel Helwani refereed in? That's all you got. Exactly. I'd love to see him referee. To be fair, it'd be so funny.
Oh yeah,
Have you ever
well,
seen the interview I did with? Have you ever seen the interview I did with Ariel Helwani?
no, I haven't. You did one?
Well, sort of.
Sort
It's
of.
like I met
Explain that.
up. He was in Canada and I was in Canada too, and I was like, "Hey Ariel, just do a video. I want you to pretend like you're actually interviewing me." He's like, "Hi, I'm Ariel Amwani, and I'm joining you with a legend in the UK mixed martial arts scene, Ricky Wright." And then he started playing with my lack of chest hair. Like I've only got this was 6 years ago, and I had one chest hair. I've got about five now. And he's like, "Well, what is this? Where's your?" I was like, "It was just me pissed up in a hotel in Toronto after a UFC event." So, but it's good. It's funny to watch.
You have to send me the link, man, so we can share as well, so everybody
Yeah,
sees it. But besides Ariel Elwani, you also have another interesting video, right? Where you're actually next to Bruce Buffer.
yeah. This guy right here.
You have the action figure and everything. Oh my god! Is it signed by him?
Yeah, what's that?
Is it if it was signed by Bruce Buffer?
Oh no, no, not yet. I haven't seen Bruce in ages. To be, it's time. I, what happened there was I went to watch a UFC in Oberhausen in Germany, and I attended the Q&A with Dana White, and there weren't many people there. Like usually at a Q&A, especially with Dana White, there usually thousands of people there. There was
Mhm.
about there was about 60 there. So I just kept going up and asking
Zero.
questions all the time. You okay?
So 6-0. You said
Yeah,
six.
6-0, yeah. So I kept on going up over and over again, asking questions, asking Dana different things. And then I saw Bruce walk into the room, and I was like, "What a good idea!" I went up and was like, "Hey Dana, I'm a ring announcer in the UK." Well, I said I'm an MC in the UK, and I'm learning the trade. I'd like to spend the day with Bruce, see how he does things. And he's like, "I had you fucked up with DJ." I was like, "Oh, you wanna?" And he was like, "Oh, well, ask Bruce." And then Joe Rogan came across. He's like, "Hey, Ricky, you want to take an apprenticeship with the master? You want to?" And then I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can you do the Buffer 360?"
Rogan still had the hair, right?
I think so. Yeah, that was when Rogan had the hair. Yeah, he's like, "Can you do the Buffer 360?" I was like, "I can do the Buffer 360." And he's like, "You say you can do the Buffer 360?" I was like, "I can do the Buffer 360." So I ended up getting on stage, and it was me, Dana White, Joe Rogan, and Bruce all on stage together. Me making a twat on myself, doing the 360 on stage. It was quite funny. That went nuts. That went proper viral. I was Someone tagged me in a post the other day, uh, like MMA's like silliest moments or something, and I was on that video, so I was like, yes, still famous.
And actually, you still have so you keep in touch with Bruce, right? So you guys
Yeah,
still are friends over this over
yeah. Me and Bruce.
friends.
He gave me his card after that, and I didn't end up contacting him that weekend, just because our hotel was in Oberhausen, his was in Dusseldorf, and it would have been logistically really hard for us to get to there. So I thought, nah, I'll just drink with the boys. But then he came to the UK a couple of times and always gives me a big hug. He gave me and Becky ringside tickets for UFC in Nottingham, which
Nice.
was cool because it was like ticket 00 and ticket 01. So
Oh,
we knew we were being looked after that day. Um, Even in Canada, the day I met Ariel Hawani, Bruce was signing autographs for everyone. If you know Bruce, he will be the first one to sign autographs and the last one to leave. The guy is a machine, a fan friendly machine. And I'm just walking past, and Bruce notices me and he goes, "Hey, Ricky, congratulations on your fight." And all these fans turn around and see this like short, fat Welsh boy there thinking, he's a fighter? I was like, oh, thanks, Bruce. Yeah.
yeah. So that's true. How many fights did you do? So MMA and other sports.
I've had four Thai boxing interclubs, which is essentially like a fight within a gym. So you fight people from other gyms inside a gym. So people pay tickets, but on the door, and it's only £5, and it's sort of like so it's a real fight, but it isn't. Do you know what I mean? You get a trophy and everything, and you fight someone, and I've seen people get knocked out in interclubs. So, and then I've had two amateur MMA fights. Then, um, undefeated amateur MMA record,
Hey, there you go. There
one
you go.
draw, one
Right.
win, no losses. Both decisions. I can't finish a packet of crisps, let alone a fight. Well, I can finish a literal packet of crisps.
Exactly.
You've seen me eat, but yeah, both my fights went to decision. Um, I tried to finish them, I really did, but it's harder than it looks when you're covered in sweat and you've got no top on. And but yeah,
Your boobies are showing up.
yeah,
Everybody's
my man pecs, my moobs.
so actually, what was the experience of doing the MMA fight? So you've been in the MMA ring or cage doing the MC, but it's completely different when you're there, closed and ready to fight, right? So how was it? How was the experience?
Yeah. Well, I had my pre-fight medical, and the medics obviously they've seen me thousands of times at different events, and they like, why are you queuing up for a medical? I was like, because I'm fighting. It's like, yeah, come on, Rick, wherever. Next. It's like, no, I'm fighting. And I had to show him my name on the card. That is me. And he's like, you're actually fighting? I was like, yes, I'm fighting. So they took my like blood pressure and everything, and they're like, are you sure you're fighting, Rick? I was like, why is that? It's like, because you were so relaxed you know, there's no, your blood pressure's low, your heart rate is low. How come you're so relaxed? Everybody else is like, you know, pumped up. And I was like, I've been here before 1,000 times before a show. It's no different, except I'm fighting. Um, I didn't get nervous at all. Um, Walking into the cage, I thought, oh, here we go. And that cage door locked. I was like, actually, it's very different from every other time I've been in here. This guy's going to try and punch my head in.
Yeah,
And
you
that's what
get out
happened.
before it closes, right?
Yep. And so, I mean, I thought I'm only going to do this once or twice. I never intended to make a career of it. The only reason I fought was because I used to comment on message boards, and even though I've been training MMA since 2004, a guy said to me, what the fuck do you know about MMA? You're just a ring announcer. What the fuck do you know? You never fought." So I thought, challenge accepted. So I went down to I went to the gym and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a fight. My coach at the time, Richard Shaw, who's the coach of like Jack Shaw and Jack Marshman.
Mhm.
Um, he basically was the first time a coach had ever like given me the confidence to put me on a card and book me a fight. So didn't want to let him down, and I trained really hard. I lost 3 stone in like four
How many
months.
kilos are that for us non-UK residents?
A stone is about 14 pounds. So
And 14 pounds are how many kilos?
uh,
We need a freaking calculator. Let me.
I okay. I was 100K, 102K, I think, and I fought at 84K.
Gee, that's close to 20 kilos.
Yeah, so I made the weight and I fought. And my first fight was really cool. I dominated the first round. Second round, he beat me. And the third round, they scored it a draw. Even though he did drop me in the third round, I hit him more. So I hit him a lot more, but he landed one that put me down. But I did something in the third round that I regret, which was, have you ever seen Anderson Silva versus Rio Chonan?
Probably. I can't remember, but probably.
It's, it's where Rio Chonan does a jumping flying leg scissor sweep and then taps out Anderson Silva with a heel hook.
Oh, okay. Now I'm okay. I don't remember watching that, but I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, I thought, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go for a jumping flying leg scissor sweep. So I rushed it. I bear in mind I was nailing people in sparring with this, and I rushed it, and it looked more like a missile drop kick to the ankles.
A proper
So
technique.
yeah, he ended up coming like falling on top of me, and I worked the triangle. And as I was working the triangle, the bell went. So they gave that a draw, and I was like, I enjoyed it, and I thought, oh, I don't want to do that again. But then I thought, no, I want to get a win now. So I was emceeing a show, and I noticed a boy fighting there who was my height but my weight, and I thought, well, that's perfect for me. He got knocked out in 5 seconds when I watched him, but he was fighting like this beast, like from my gym. He was fighting a guy called Ashley from who I trained with, and Ash is just like, if he wasn't in jail right now, Um, he'd be in the UFC,
Okay,
and I
he's
mark my words.
stuff to practice there and time as well.
Yeah, yeah. I tell you what, I feel sorry for any motherfucker who starts on him in prison because he's a badass. But yeah, so my teammate knocked out this boy, and I thought this boy shouldn't have been fighting my teammate because he's a beast. I'll fight him because we're the same height, same weight. Just makes sense, really. I've got one draw, he's got one loss. So I said to my coach, "Oh, make the fight," like, and he did. Um, I went out to my local for like I think 12 weeks before the fight. I thought I'll have one final drink, one final piss up with the boys. Went out, I bumped into him. I was like, "Oh, I'm fighting you," and he's like, "Yeah." It's a bit awkward. I was like, "Let me buy you a drink." I was like, so we had a drink and we got we had a couple of face offs, head to heads. Like again, I gave him a hug and said, "Oh, good luck with your training. I'll see you in 12 weeks. Let's put on a show." I bet I walked away and he walked away, and first thing I said was, "I'm gonna fucking smash that prick," and I bet he said it too. I bet he said it too. Um, no, but he's a good lad. We went to war. I watched the fight back the other day. Someone uploaded it. I um I won. I thought the third round was a bit boring, but the first two rounds were good fun.
Yeah.
And then why I've never fought again? I hear you asking. Well,
Yes, yes, of course. The segue, the next question, of
yep.
course.
Well, my second fight was in a nightclub, and there were no chairs. It was all standing, so everyone was sort of like standing around the cage. I was on top of my opponent, punching the fuck out of him, and I looked up, and through the mesh, I could see Becky and my mother, and they were crying their eyes out, like tears streaming down their face. And I'm like, "What are you crying for? I'm fucking winning." And then after that, I said, "Oh, I won't fight again. I can't put you guys through that." My mother said it wasn't the fight that upset her. It was the weight cutting. I was absolute. I made myself really ill making the weight the second time around, because the second time around I had a girlfriend. I just started going out with Becky, so it's a lot harder to cut weight when you got a girlfriend.
So that's the
So
problem. So,
it,
so that's a good advice. So if you want to be a successful MMA fighter, don't date, don't have girlfriends.
that's true. Damn straight.
Okay, so you don't have a special MMA career, but you have a special MC career. So what are the next steps, man? What are your dreams now with the MC stuff?
Well, first of all, not to be poor in January. That's we've
Good.
already discussed that. And second of all, I'd like to like with IMMAF, I've got to go to Vegas, uh, Prague, Sofia, and I got to go to Sofia again on the back of Prague because I've been to Sofia twice. Once for
Europeans.
the Europeans and once for the Bulgarian national games. And I'd love to travel the world doing what I love doing, seeing fights, emceeing. Um, I was going to go out to Germany and do the German um Open, not a German Open, the German Nationals, but that got cancelled. Um, I was going to go out with Julia and Anya and stay with them, and so like it's strange. My ambition as a ring announcer is like,
Okay. The
sorry
back.
about that. My ambitions as a ring announcer is purely to be to make this world this a smaller place as possible. Do you know what I mean? Like, for instance, you you live in Portugal. I have seen more of you in the last 2 years than I've seen some of my best friends from school in the last 2 years. I talk to you now like we haven't been apart. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The same like Doug, Doug, who lives in Arizona. I see him more than I see a lot of my old friends. It's the world is a lot smaller places. I want to be able to go into like a random cafe or a restaurant in some random part of the world, like Timbuktu, and then walk in and go, "All right, Rick, do you want your usual again?" Do you know what I mean? I want the world to be like everywhere is accessible, um, and that's kind of my main goals, just to travel as much as possible. Right now, I'm earning enough money to keep alive and survive, sort of thing. I have a good lifestyle, but it'd be good if I could really secure my future with doing this. I mean, I've got some friends who were ring announcers, like this guy, who who make a lot of money, and there's no reason why I can't do it if I keep working really hard. I'd love to get more TV work as well. I got a couple of TV gigs lined up this year, um, so I'm looking forward to them as well. Um, I'd love to do like more events on UFC Fight Pass as well, or even the UFC. I nearly got to do the UFC.
Really? Tell me about that one.
Well, what happened was I say I nearly got to. I probably didn't stand a chance in hell, to be honest. But do you remember when the UK had um, a British ring announcer for the UFC, Andy
Ye-
Friedlander? Well, basically, a couple of months before that, Bruce sent me an email and said, "Oh, the UK are going to have a regional ring announcer. Can you send me your CV? I'll pass it on to not CV, your highlight reel.
Mhm.
I'll pass it on to I'll pass it on to the UFC and." And so I didn't have a highlight reel, but I sent them a bit of footage, a couple of YouTube links, and I was just hoping for the best. Um, it never happened, and I'm kind of glad it didn't because at the time, looking back now, I wasn't ready. I look at footage of myself then and think, fucking hell, man, I was shit. But at the time, I used to think I was amazing. It's like the older I get and the better I get, the worse I think I am, and the worst I knew I was. So
Mhm.
I look at footage of like 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm like, I remember at the time thinking, fucking nailed it. That was awesome. And then I watch him back and I'm like, ah, cringe. I hate watching old footage. Um, so if I did get the UFC gig, they've probably fucked it
Mm.
right up. Probably would get booed out the building and probably quit MCing and probably be a fucking truck driver or something.
Well, yeah, it's probably a good thing. Yeah, usually when that stuff happens, you get pissed and you feel sad, but then looking back like you did, it's probably a good thing that it didn't happen. So it's you never know. Maybe next year, 2 years from now, you'll have the
Yeah,
chance and you're ready.
like I, I at the time as well, I was really overweight, so I thought, oh, I need to get in shape as well. So I did a bit more training. um, as well. So I didn't think I looked the part. I've started losing weight again. So like since seeing you in Sofia, I've lost right about 10 kilos. So
Whoa, nice.
you might not look it right now. Still got my double chin. Still it. Um, but I'm just hoping that um, I'm hoping to lose a bit more weight, uh, be healthier, and then look the part as well as sound the part, and then still work on my flaws in the ring because I'm not perfect, Paolo. I
No,
know that. No, I know that. I've come to realize I'm not Jesus.
you're not
Took my
Jesus.
time. No, I took my time learning that.
Okay, okay. It's probably because of the hair, the big blonde hair, maybe. I don't
Yeah, there is. It's a bit of a mess right now.
know.
So
Cool stuff. So, off the air, you were saying that you're not going to Bahrain, unfortunately, right? For the Worlds on the.
no, that's I'm really gutted about that. I mean, I got told early this year to put it in my diary, but don't count on it because it's got a lot to do with the Bahrain Federation and
Mhm.
what they want. I mean, they are fronting the money and they said they covered. So that's me out. I'm gutted, but I mean, I won't get to travel, but I've still got a lot on anyway. So it's not as if I'm going to be at home twiddling my thumbs, uh, looking at everybody's selfies. I'll probably start crying when I see everybody together and I'm not there. But I'll still be there for the European Open next year. Um, I hope to see you there as well. So,
Well, you never
do you know
know.
where it is?
I might die. No, where is it?
um,
Romania?
I'm no, it's not there. I can't. I don't know if I can say it. I'll probably tell you off there. But it's a country that's got a federation that's recently joined, and they've got a lot of financial backing as a country. Like their MMA federation apparently is the bollocks. So it's a country I've never ever thought I'd ever get a chance to go to as well. So
Wow,
it'd be
man.
quite cool.
It's going to be a good experience, I'm sure. So what's
Yeah, hopefully.
it depends. It depends on a lot of things. In regards to the officials, so we also need to go through the selection process. So usually Mark and the IMMAF members, they decide which guys to choose. Usually we have more officials applying than available slots. So yeah, so it's always one of those things. So you might not get lucky. So far, I think I've been fortunate. I'm also working to be fortunate. So since Birmingham, I only missed the ones that I didn't apply, which was the African Opens. The rest I pretty much applied to every single one, and I got accepted. So, but it takes a little bit of work as well. So it's not just staying at home, not doing anything. Although, as you know, Portugal, we have the challenge that we don't have that many events.
Yeah,
Actually, no events at all during the year. So that means that we need to be a bit. So we need to find other ways to train and to keep the blade sharp, as they say in the martial arts world. So so far it seems that it's being working out for me, but we'll see. So I would like to have more opportunities, but as you mentioned, like the case with you and the UFC, maybe I'm not ready yet, so that's why the opportunities don't appear. So yeah, so keep practicing,
yeah.
and like Mark usually tells.
I highly doubt the UFC would have gone with me at the time as well. because even if I sent it, if I sent my footage off to him, like I sent some links, and they probably looked at me and thought, nah. But the guy they went with were much better than me anyway, and he doesn't work for him anymore. So if he was any good, he'd still be there.
Or
But
a
you're right,
corporate
though.
just to
It was always the right time.
right. Hello.
All right, how's it going?
No, I was saying, or maybe it was a corporate decision just to use Bruce Buffer for most of the shows.
Yeah, Bruce is the man. I mean, Bruce is the main MMA ring announcer, um, and every other MMA ring announcer tries to rip him off, and he knows it. He fucking hates it, right? Because every other MC goes fighting, fighting out of the blue corner, fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and a lot of the other MMA announcers copy him. And when I asked Bruce, I said, "Oh, what's the one advice you got for a young ring announcer?" He said, "I never try to be the next Michael Buffer. I tried to be the first Bruce Buffer.
Yeah.
You shouldn't try to be the next Bruce Buffer. You should try to be the first Ricky Wright." So I did. I thought, well, I'm not going to copy his template. Everybody seems to go, um, he fighting out of the blue corner. He is a mixed martial artist, or he is a kickboxer and a jiu-jitsu fighter. He stands winning, fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. And then he says the name, and every other MMA MC copies that template.
Mhm.
I don't do that because, first of all, every time there's a mixed martial artist, like, do you know when people read out their discipline?
Mhm.
When Bruce first started, it's like he is a jiu-jitsu fighter, he is a boxer, because they were jiu-jitsu fighters, they were boxers. Now everyone is a fucking mixed martial artist. It's like
Yeah, that's true.
he is a mixed martial artist. Well, duh, he's fighting MMA.
He is a cook.
Yeah, they should say that. I like Bob Sapp's introduction. He is he is an American football player because that's what he was. He
Yeah,
shit fighter, shit. But like, yeah, every MC, every MMA fighter is a mixed martial artist. It's like it's like imagine doing a boxing match and going, he is a boxer. Well, yeah, that's what we bought tickets for.
yeah. Oh shit!
But like
I was good.
everyone, everybody copies that style, Bruce's style, fighting, fighting. And the reason he is like that because, as I said earlier, he didn't want to be the next Michael Buffer. He wanted to be the first Bruce Buffer. And I talked to a lot of other ring announcers and world who really look up to Michael Buffer, and they say, "Oh, that Bruce, he's nothing like his brother. His brother's so much better." And I was like, "Yeah, the reason he isn't like his brother is purely by choice because he wanted to set himself so far apart from his brother that no one would ever compare them, and he's a star in his own right. Bruce is. Do you know what I mean? I heard of Bruce Buffer before I heard of Michael Buffer, and a lot of people who follow combat sports who got into MMA first will say, "Oh, Michael Buffer is he Bruce's bro? Is he related to Bruce at all?" I remember first time I saw Michael Buffer, he's doing a K1 fight, and I was like, "Where's Bruce? I wonder if he did, but you know." So, but Bruce is a legend, and Michael is a legend. Yeah, I
And
will
you
be
will
a
be like,
legend. I will be a legend too.
yes. Good stuff.
One day I'll come to Portugal
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
I will
So,
do a
well, look. So, as I was saying offline, so we are getting closer to get the sport recognized. So
yeah.
then, a lot more doors will open. A few of them will close, but probably those
Yeah.
ones closed anyway. So but another one, other ones will open, and once everything is working as expected, then I'm sure opportunities will come, not just for events to come here, but also maybe even an IMF tournament in the future.
That would be
So
fantastic.
we'll be here. So
Portugal is one of the countries I've always wanted to go to. Um, so I think it'd be nice to do an IMAF in a really nice, warm country again. Like saying that, Sofia was quite warm. It was quite nice that time of year. But the first time I went in February, it was ice
I
cold.
was surprised at that time. I thought it would be snowing or something like that.
Yeah, you could see snow on the mountains, and then you were like blistering hot weather, and you thought, "Ow, how wasn't that snow melted?" And it was there all week.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
And
in
the
the airport,
no gun signs, right? That was funny as well.
yeah, I got to the airport, and there was a lot of Welsh people in the airport,
In
and it
Serbia?
was like, oh, yeah. If you talk with the Welsh, right? If you're Welsh and you see another Welsh person, like the other side of the world, you have to talk to them. It's like, hey, it's happening. And you will know someone that they know. You will know Jeff from Tonopandi, and they will, everyone in Wales knows someone who knows everybody else. Honest to God. I was talking to these Welsh guys, like, oh, where you from? Oh, Aberdeen. Oh, lovely. Oh, I know someone from Aberdeen. Do you know so and so? Yes, I know him. It's like, oh, so I was talking to him. It's like, so where have you been in? Oh, we've been skiing. I'm like, skiing? Are you fucking for real? I've got a sunburn from where I've been walking around Sofia all week, and you've just been skiing. Oh yeah, lovely. Aye, the mountains, nice and cold. Bonkers, man. But it'd be nice to go to a country for IMAF like Portugal where it'll be like really, really hot. I remember Prague last year, absolutely freezing,
Yeah, it
but
was.
it was nice and Christmassy. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah,
Portugal, Emmy, bring it on.
yeah, yeah. So Portugal would be nice, I would say, during spring, probably, or the autumn period. In the summer, I think yeah, you might get too hot, so it's not really good. But yeah, springtime or autumn time, that would be perfect, I would say. You still get like 20 something degrees, um,
Yeah.
unless you get a hurricane. Actually, let me ask you, so did you guys get hit by this hurricane that, just passed by the British and Irish islands?
Yeah, well, it's quite tragic, really. Um, take a lot for me to say this. Quite upsetting, but my garden chairs blew over,
Oh,
and I had to go outside and pick them up and put them back the next day. It was a tragedy, man.
so you guys were safe, right? Because my uh, colleagues and some friends that I have in Ireland. For the people that don't remember, don't know, I lived in Ireland for 2.5 years, a few years back. So they were saying that I think 3 people died, unfortunately,
Oof.
uh,
My
and
joke doesn't sound so funny now.
yeah, and I think half of the country was without electricity as well. So
Yeah,
that was definitely not funny.
yeah. Feel bad now. No, we only caught the tail end of it, so
Yeah.
we weren't in Wales. It was just like pretty to watch the seaside. The waves, and it was quite nice to look at. But in Ireland, I really felt for him. Like a few schools lost their roofs, which is quite good news if you're a kid in school. I mean, I used to want the roof to blow up all the time. I used to love days off school. Um, but like being without electricity for all that time was a bit nightmare for them. But the Irish are if you've lived there that they're some of the most craziest people ever. And that saying, uh, "Don't wait till a storm passes. Learn to dance in the rain." Well, they took that literally, and a lot of them danced in the rain and just made the best of a crappy situation. So good on them. Good old Irish. Good old Celts. Stick together as Celts.
Yeah, that's cool. So Ricky, we've been talking for basically an hour, man. Anything else that you would like to say? Because I don't want us to basically talk about everything now, because I would like to have you as a guest
Again, yeah.
near future. So if we talk about everything now, then we don't have much subject to much stuff to talk
Um.
about.
Well, is there anything coming up? Any UFCs? I don't know.
Well, there is one.
No, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Which one?
It's a fight night. It's the main event is Cowboy Cerrone against Darren Hill.
Oh yeah, Darren Till. Yeah, he's from
Darren,
Liverpool. He's an English bloke. Yeah,
yes.
he's well up for this. He's coming to win. He's coming. Like Cerrone, basically is for him. It's just another takeover fight where he's coming to just win and get himself back into title contention. But Darren Till is a badass. He's young, up and coming fighter. He's coming for the win, and I think I'm predicting fireworks. I tend to not stay up anymore and watch UFCs, and I tend to not even watch them in the mornings because there's so many of them.
Poland, and it's going to be in our normal time zone, so we can actually watch the fights live.
Yeah, might just do that because a huge fan of Cerrone, and I think Darren Till knows that if he wins this fight, that's it. He's in the top 10. He's gunning for the welterweight title. He's where he wants to be. So good luck to him.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be ranked. I was checking the UFC site, and he doesn't
Yeah,
seem ranked yet. So yeah, definitely, if he wins against Cowboy, he will be ranked in the top 10. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's about as much knowledge of the UFC recently.
And
I
actually,
know
for the Portuguese that
Jack
are
Marshman.
so the UFC is going to be broadcast live in Sport TV. That's the Portuguese channel with the commentators João Bacalhau and Luís Barneto. Did you know that Luís Barneto actually does the as a commentator?
No way!
He
Wow, awesome! I love Louise. He's awesome. He deserves that. I'm over the moon for him for
Yeah, he
being commentator on the UFC.
Yeah, we usually joke about saying that he's half of the voice of the Portuguese MMA, because him and João. They've been doing the commentating since almost the beginning of the UFC transmissions in Portugal, so a few years back. So yeah,
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. He's
so that
he's like he's
they
like the
talk
Joe
about.
Rogan of Portugal. Joe Rogan. Everything else is virtually identical.
Yeah, that's it. So João Bacalhau is basically you know um, the Michael Goldberg when he was
Yeah.
the other half of the commentators in the UFC, and Luis Barnett is basically the Joe Rogan.
Next time I see him now, I'll be like, call him Joe. Hey, Joe. What's happening, Joe?
Hi, Joe Rogan. How are you?
Yeah.
Portuguese Joe Rogan.
Uh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I'm really happy for him, though. So he's been doing it a long time then.
Yep, yep. He's a pro now. He does that, with his eyes closed. Sometimes he does.
So does he do it in a studio, or
Yeah.
does he get to go to the UFCs and
Oh
do
no, no,
it?
it's in the studio. So they see the live broadcast and they just do the voiceover, so to speak, on top of the
I've
images.
done that. I've I've done a show live in Wales, and the commentators are in a studio in France or in um.
That's probably for you.
I know one of the yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like
So
something.
yes, it's quite mad. Yeah,
So that's funny. So an English and the French doing the commentating. So
yeah.
yeah.
I'm doing a TV show soon, uh, a live show soon that is available to like 50 countries worldwide.
Ooh. Which one? Which one?
It's a pro boxing show, but one of the countries it isn't showing in is the UK, and it's in the UK.
Well, it's probably TV rights or something, right? So
Oh, I am huge in Kazakhstan.
uh,
I am massive in the Republic of the Congo. All the African countries and all the like the former Soviet countries receive the fights, but not the UK. So it's quite bonkers. Like you got people like Beric Shinaliev from Kazakhstan, the IMMAF
yep, yep.
two-time bronze medalist. He uh, he watched the last time because it was like two fighters from Kazakhstan on this show I do. It's called Siesta Boxing. It's
Siesta box.
bonkers. Yeah, the gentleman who is the promoter, his name's Al Siesta. He's a Russian
You know what
who
siesta in Spanish means, right?
sleep in the day and party
Yeah,
in the night, something
it's
like
like
that.
a nap. So
Yeah.
that doesn't sound like a good name for a boxing show. Siesta.
Oh, I don't know. You think about it this way, though, right? What happens when you knock someone out? What happens to them?
Yeah, they will take a siesta, definitely.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's clever than you think.
Ah, okay, okay. So every time there's a KO, the commentator goes like, "Oh, it's siesta time."
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's gonna have to happen. I'm gonna have to plug it to the commentators next time. Maybe they'll get a deal in Portugal, and Luis can do the commentary, and he can say siesta time.
Well, for the Portuguese, everybody would understand. So
Yeah,
that would be cool. That would be cool. Nice, Ricky. So I guess that's it for today, man. Really appreciate you spending this hour with me. Talking a little bit, telling a few jokes, talking about the past, the present, and the future. Now I'm being
yeah.
honest, and
Um,
for sure we'll have more stuff to talk about in the future. And I hope to have you as a guest in the
oh,
new.
definitely. It's good fun. I'm doing another podcast tomorrow, so
See
I'm
this.
getting used to this now.
Yeah, this is how highly rated this guy is. Everybody wants to talk to this guy. You will be the perfect right in the MC world. So you have the
When all
first.
the current crop of MCs die, that's when I'll take center stage. Sorry,
Good.
Bruce.
Next time, make sure that Becky also shows up. It's always a pleasure speaking to her.
Yeah, she will. Yeah, I'll get a space set of headphones and she can join in as well.
Will do. So, Ricky, again, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it, and talk to you next time.
All right. See you later, Paolo.
Bye
Good
bye.
night, Portugal.
Good night, Wales.
Bye.